2012, approximately 74% of all violent crime suspects in New York were black or Latino. The same year, around 96% of those people arrested for murder in New York City were black or Latino, with blacks representing 63% and Latinos representing 33%. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how broken his logic is. Since 63% of people arrested for murder were black, would it be fair to say that if someone's talking about murderers, they're talking about black people?
Okay, first, arrested for, not convicted of. But no, and that would not be analogous here. And I'm going to get back to why, because there's something very key that you just left out completely.
When date right comes on and says, they used to stop and frisk criminals, and it's disproportionately affecting people that aren't white, yeah, I got a little offended.
Yes, he got offended for black people about something that wasn't said about black people. But that's not what he said. And this creator had to leave out a word to try to make his point. Date Right said this.
We used to have stop and frisk for criminals in this country.
As you can see, it said for criminals. There's a big difference in what Date Right said and what this guy is saying he said. Stop and frisk was for criminals. He didn't say they used to stop and frisk criminals. Because again, how could you determine who's a criminal or not?
And this is where the entire house of cards crumbles for you, Jeff. Because that's not the win you thought it was. Because I have one question for you. What do you mean stop and frisk was for criminals? Because the big piece of data that you just conveniently left out is that on average from 2002 to 2013, 87.6% of the people stopped by NYPD as a part of stop and frisk were not convicted of a crime. Almost 90% of people stopped during this program were not criminals. Wait, so let's work backwards now. If that's the case, then no, it wouldn't be analogous here if they said 96% of arrests were black people, and when you're saying murderer, you're talking about black people. It would be more analogous if there was some policy that we had called Catch 'em All that was designed to get murderers off the streets. When in reality, all that policy did was stop people who 90% of the time were not murderers and also happen to be disproportionately members of one particular racial demographic. So you coming out in support of that policy as though we need to bring this back because that's when America took shit seriously would be a racist dog whistle. Jeff, let's keep it going and show why your logic is fucking broken. Because think about it. If you're saying that stop and frisk does not just mean black people, because black people were 55% and Latino people were 33%, so actually blah blah blah. Then again, I ask you, how the fuck does stop and frisk mean criminal when 87.6% of the people stopped under stop and frisk were not criminals? By your own logic, stop and frisk never existed for criminals. And in practice, stop and frisk was never for criminals. It was for people who were prejudged to be criminals because of the color of their skin, which was the whole problem with stop and frisk.